Okay, so we're pulling out our cheese that we've grated, and this is easy to grate, like if you get them at Costco, a big block of cheese, grate it with a salad shooter, and then put them in like a pound and a half in a Ziploc bag, and then you just, I just put it in the microwave for like a minute to defrost it a little bit, and then we get a lot of this tofu. So when we go to the different food places, I never want to take from anyone that really needs food, you know, more than we do, and say what kinds of things will only take that you have a hard time getting rid of. And so what we've ended up with is a whole lot of tofu. So we're always finding ways to cook the tofu. So you're going to put the tofu in with cheese, and you can put this in lasagna, or what we're going to make is like a kind of a macaroni casserole, and you just basically chop it up with the cheese or stir it in, and you can put some celery flakes. These all come from the dollar store. We add about $20 each month on our budget of miscellaneous. So we don't like calculate these, but we just say, okay, we know we've spent like miscellaneous stuff that we haven't calculated, and we just add that at the end of the month, and we stir this. So we would use another one of these also, and then mix it in with what we make. So here we have a combination of meats that I pulled out of our freezer. There's some sausage. We at one time purchased half of a hog for meat, and then someone gave us some elk, and then there's also some beef in here. So we just kind of mix and match different things. If we have venison or elk, or I know that some people love that, but personally I don't like the taste of it that much, so usually I'll put some other things in with it. I'll mix beef in with it. This is some onion that, you know, when we had another meal, or when we cooked the turkey actually, we put part of an onion in, and then we chopped up the rest. So I try to always chop up the whole thing. So if we're doing an onion, we chop up the whole thing and put these in a bag in the fridge, and then when we go through, we try to think, okay, how can we use these items that we have. And then these are some peppers that we got, and then some garlic, that I would put in, and then some tomatoes. And just kind of cook that together. And then we're not, of course, going to use this whole thing of meat, because we look at our, you know, our food triangle, and the portion of meat we want to eat is pretty small in comparison to, you know, your carbohydrates and your breads, your pastas, your rice, your beans. And so that's the majority of what we eat, and then we eat a smaller portion. But I always cook a lot, and then either put them in baggies in the freezer or put them in little containers. So part of this is going to go in with our chili, and part of it's going to go in with our casserole that we're cooking, and then I'll save another part out that I haven't decided what to do with yet, and I'll probably just put it in the fridge for a time when we need, or in the freezer a time we need to pull, you know, a portion of meat. So then I'll put some of this in containers that I've marked with the date. Right, since this is going to go in the chili, I would just write chili on it and the date. And then, so after we pulled out some of the meat that we're going to save for other meals, then I use what I'm, you know, going to make for. This is some stewed tomatoes, was 35 cents, and this is just tomato sauce is $1. The can was dinged, so it's a good idea to look around at different places on where you might be able to buy, you know, food that's canned or damaged. Ask the individuals at the grocery store. We get all these cans of soups, and people don't know what to do with them. And sometimes they're marked, and they're not really that. So it's always a surprise, but we'll see if this is actually Yeah, it looks like it is what it says. So I would put a little bit of it in. This is roasted red pepper tomato soup. And put that back in the fridge to use in our enchiladas. And then this is vegetable broth, organic vegetable broth. I put a little bit of that in also.
Yeah.
I know it looks kind of nasty, but once you stir it up and mix it with your macaroni and mix it with your cheese, it really, you won't taste it at all. You won't know that I put soup in it. Some basil that came from one of the free places in our fridge, and I would have, if I thought about it, cooked it. That the stuff we're using for the casserole, but since I didn't, I'm just going to chop some of it up and put it in with this cheese. And so, we're trying to just use everything that we get. And so our meals, when people ask us, for recipes, I never have any recipes because every meal is always different. We put our noodles in. I put a little bit of the sauce on the bottom so that they're not stuck to the bottom. This on top. And I will put some of this. Now again, this is tofu and mozzarella cheese and also some various spices, Italian seasoning, and celery and garlic, and then some basil. And I will take and I put this in the oven at 350 just for about 20 minutes. And then this I'll put in a container and I'll save it. I can put this in with our turkey enchiladas that we're making.